Okay, we're live now. Whether or not Zach shows up, we're starting anyway. It's 5 minutes past the go live time, so yeah, it's time to start anyway. We've had a vacation. I've had a vacation at least from this, and now it's time to come back. Welcome to the Monkey Bar. I'm Tony, and Zach will probably be here in a bit, but until he shows up, I'm going to keep shitting on him for being late. Yeah, he's probably got something important going on anyway. But until he shows up, I've got... let me just... there. Don't even have to take this image into Photoshop and redo it and, re-render a new video to go along with it. Also... doesn't quite work, but as you can still see the taskbar down there if I do, whatever. Look, the point is, we're back, or at least I'm back, and I'm going to stall for time as much as I can until then. It really shows, it does show just how important Zach is to this production, as a matter of fact, because he's the one guy I can, bounce my ideas off of and not just come across like a rambling jackass. Let's see. Let me check my notes to see what we were going to talk about anyway. I don't want to go too much into this stuff because I want Zach to be here for when I talk about this stuff anyway. Let's see. Well, right now I want to announce that I'm deleting my Facebook. I have a personal Facebook. I don't think I've ever shared that, because I do have a professional Facebook and I have a regular Facebook that I've had for a long time, since I think 2008. And I think that's one of the factors that led me to want to delete this account, is just to have a clean slate, because there's a lot of embarrassing stuff on there. Even though I've since set that profile to private, you probably couldn't find. You'd find it. I don't know if you could you probably could go through and hack into it or whatever. Please don't do that. But it'll, again, a tempting fate here. But it'll be deleted anyways. And it's something I've been putting off for a while. But like I've said before, it's the social media thing has been an addiction. And I want to because I'm actually moving forward with my comic, my more professional creative projects. I feel like I'm finally, taking this seriously, and I don't want anything getting in the way. So right now, all I have is my Twitter account, which is also getting in the way regardless. I'll deal with that when the time comes. I think I've said before, ideally, I would like to have a setup where I just pay somebody to post a social media for me, just to network, manage my networking for me. Just have somebody to be able to pay somebody to do that. Until then, I've got to bear this cross myself. It's not very funny. I don't know why I laughed at that. I think I laughed at it because it's just so terrible. Just such a terrible, sacrilegious thing to say. Whatever. Facebook sucks. Twitter sucks. Social media sucks. We're all going to die. There is no punchline. That is the punchline. You get nothing. Who's watching this? Nobody? That's good. I don't care. And yeah, you can see why I wanted to take the last week off, because Zach had his sister's wedding. It was his sister's birthday. And I don't know, this is why I don't do this myself. I had that test stream done a while back. I think half a year ago, I tried doing StreamYard for the first time and just put up a test run of this. And the result of that was basically what you're hearing right now, is just me rambling on about nonsense. At least when I have Zach here, I'm able to bounce that nonsense back and forth. So forgive me if I'm being a little bit flaky, extra flaky in this episode, because it's almost 5 minutes past going live. 10 minutes. Zach's 10 minutes late, so I don't know if he's going to show up. Um, let's see. You know what? Let me just get into the subjects anyway, because we're already first of, I think, 7 talking points. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's still no viewers, so I can't even interact with the chat. I saw that The Boys is season 2 is coming out September 4th. I really liked The Boys, the first season. I really liked it a lot. I wasn't expecting to like it so much as I did, but yeah, it left on a cliffhanger in the last season, and I've been anticipating the next season since then, and I'm glad that the second season is coming out before I die. So that's good. That's really good. What do you know? What else can we talk about? Because that's about it for The Boys. It's a really good show. I like the first season, and I think I'm going to like the second season even more. Or I hope I do, at least, because it might be shit. I don't know. That's basically all I have to say about The Boys. The Boys is a really good... Boys. Season 1 was a really good season. It basically did everything that a subversive superhero show should, and a little bit extra. I can't really go into detail because it's been a while since I've watched it, so I can't really think of any specific things that did really good. Let's see, but it was good. Right now I'm just thinking what is Zach doing right now? Because he said he'd be on, but he's not. Why is that? Why is that, huh? I'm gonna post to Twitter right now. Just to see if I can get anybody on here, anybody at all. Let's see. I'm just gonna share this in real time. Somebody, please help. Zach didn't show up, and I'm dying on air. DM me for StreamYard invite. Please. You know, I'll just leave it like that. Yeah. I know this is the experimental period of the Monkey Bar, where it's just me. Let's just pretend that Zach died or he's in a coma, and that I'm just left, hanging by myself. This is basically what it would be like if Zach just dropped off of the face of the earth, and it was just me. Again, thank Zach for even bothering to show up at all on every other day he's been available. Again, it sounds like I'm really railing into Zach hard on this, but believe me, it's from a place of love. It's from a place of love. Okay, take my word for it, please. What else can we talk about right now? Nobody's gonna get back to me on this. Nobody's gonna get back to me on this Twitter post anyway. So whatever. It's fine. What else were we going to talk about? Oh, yeah, Linus Tech Tips. I just started following him. I've been watching his videos. He's pretty cool. He talks a lot about, computer stuff that I won't be able to afford in my lifetime, possibly, unless I just fall ass first into a barrel full of money. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I've always wanted to get into computer stuff, computer programming. 1 minute. 1 minute, please. Oh, thank God.
Oh my fucking God, I am so sorry the dog got loose.
That's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna... Oh, I could have kicked his ass.
No. And now we can officially start 10 minutes into the episode.
Fuck, I am so sorry, Tony. God.
Let me get this thing out of the way.
Yes, welcome to
the official monkey bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really, it was my fault for starting on time anyway. I should have waited for you because the first 10 minutes of this are not very good. So you this is the timestamp where you can skip to.
Hey. If it's not very good, you'll at least look better when I start trying to crack jokes.
Oh, definitely.
Can I start with what happened to me a few days ago?
Sure.
I decided that I wanted to try and tan myself.
Huh.
So I fell asleep while tanning myself. 45 minutes later, now when I should clarify, I burn in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up 45 minutes later and I didn't look burned at all. And I'm like, did I overcome my own genetics? And as I walk back to the house, I start turning so red, it looks like I fucked a lobster. Oh my God.
Are you part Irish?
Yes, I am. My ancestor's name must have been fucking Vlad von Irishman.
Yeah, I heard that's a common surname over there.
Yes.
That reminds me of that one episode of Malcolm in the Middle where Reese falls asleep while he's tanning, and then he starts like peeling off his skin, and he ends up like peeling off like his whole all the skin off his body, and then it gets like sucked into the vacuum at the end.
Oh my God. The worst part is like I hate looking at my own body, and I couldn't wear a shirt for a few days. Oh my God, it was bad. I apologize. I had sun poisoning for at least 2 days. Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, I've been getting a little bit of a tan on my shoulders. I've actually been trying to do that just because I always get farmer's tan, where I get really tan on my forearms, and then a farmer's tan with being the t-shirt pattern. And it always looks really goofy, and I try to avoid it, but it always happens to me every summer. Also, like the undersides of my forearms don't tan very well either. So
you sometimes get it on the back of the neck too.
Yeah.
That's actually where the term redneck comes from, in reference to Marines.
Yep. Yeah.
Nautical trivia.
Mm-hmm. And before you got here, I was talking about I officially announced I'm going to delete my Facebook. And for anyone like outside of my friends on the Facebook that I have is not probably nobody cares and nobody should care, but I just wanted to take the time to talk about how terrible Facebook is anyway. It's basically all the problems I have with Twitter, but except even worse, because there's just I think recently Facebook was described to me as like having a hall monitor atmosphere, and I totally get that.
I think that what I hate more about Facebook is the culture it kind of bred. I don't want to sound too deep thinky about that, but
another description was MySpace for boomers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Oh God.
But yeah, in a week I'm deleting it, and I feel great about that. If I posted, if anyone wants to contact me or keep in contact, here's my just message me for my email. It's like just going back to basics. And I don't imagine that many people are going to take me up on that offer, and fuck them. So if you don't,
I am gonna delete my Facebook too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me,
it's just that every time I load.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. It's every time I load my Facebook, I feel like I just witnessed a horrible war crime that I have to suppress for years at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That years down the line, I'll be interviewed by PBS and break down crying.
Yeah. Yeah, like Facebook is going to be easy for me to delete. Twitter for me, it's like I'm able to keep in contact with like the comic creator friends I have. So that'll be harder. That would be harder for me to like just cut off completely. Probably going to go back to frequently logging out of that. Depends on where I'm at with networking with these people. So I don't know. It's you got to take everything in moderation. But yeah, Facebook is completely useless to me. I really have no use for it anymore.
What gets me is it seems that Facebook is like I would describe it not just as MySpace for boomers. You know those bacteria cultures
Mm-hmm.
that they use? It's like that for like the worst groups ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter how much I hated Tumblr, at least Tumblr had some interesting shit on there once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But once I've seen the 15th million Facebook take down this meme group, it's like, God damn. No, Grandma, no one's gonna take down your meme. Go back to taking your antidepressants and watching Judge Judy.
Man, Judge Judy was a thing in the 90s. That's
Oh,
wild to
she's
think.
still on, and
Yeah, I know. It's wild to think that she's still been doing it for like, what, 50 years now? No, it hasn't been that long, but I don't think it's been that long.
and I kind of think I kind of like pit bulls,
Mm-hmm.
Pit bulls can be a good dog. It depends on how you raise the dog. If you have a pit bull, I've noticed this. You could own a pit bull, like me and my pit bull in the car when this person came over and hit me with a bat. She's like, well, you shouldn't have been in the Batman's range. God, I apologize. Sorry.
Is that a metaphor?
That's my one.
Like, did that actually happen to you?
What?
Does that actually happen to you, or is that just a metaphor for something?
No. I'm talking about how in Judge Judy, if you have a pit bull, you lose the case no matter what.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I've noticed this. Like they have a person who had a pit bull, and this other person had it was a German Shepherd. German Shepherd attacked, but she reasoned that the pit bull must have aggravated the other dog, which there was no proof of.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying, that large man must be arrested because it looks like he could have started a fight with the other large man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. But another thing I was talking about was The Boys. That's good. Like that's going to come back for season 2 on September 4th on Amazon.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. I liked the first season, and I feel like I'm going to like the second season, unless they screw up something. Which I don't like. I have faith that they're going to make a good second season. I have a feeling it's going to be even better than the first, and hopefully, because I think they released a trailer for season 2 or a teaser trailer like a year ago, and but I didn't watch that. I didn't want to spoil. Like this is like The Boys is one of these rare few things I don't want to spoil myself for. But like the first season actually ended with a cliffhanger, which I think for a lot of streaming, like when a lot of these big streaming series, they don't really end with cliffhangers. They're sort of their own, like they sort of end up as they have a fairly conclusive ending because they want to be self-contained. But it was odd. Well, I remember watching the Red Letter Media review examination of The Boys, and they said they thought it was odd. But yeah, I think that cliffhangers at a certain point in general became sort of phased out. But a lot of TV shows used to have cliffhangers all the time for season finales. So I don't know. It's but yeah, it definitely got me excited for season 2. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I don't know why, But if I ever made a TV show and I had to make a teaser, I would make the teaser completely wrong and baseless.
Huh.
Like, I would have like a character get killed in the teaser, but they don't die in the main show.
Mhm.
Shit like that. Like, hey, didn't you die? Well, what? Well, no. Where'd you get that? No, I'm fine.
I think that's what Clone High did. Or at least I think that's what they're gonna do because like Clone High lasted one season, and then the season finale ended with this huge cliffhanger. It was like they did this every episode where there was like next time on Clone High, somebody may or may not die, and it shows like a water tower falling over. But then like the next episode, it's like, hey, look out for that water tower. The guy pushes him out of the way. So it's like really, really cheap, like intentionally cheap stuff like that. I've actually been watching it for the first time. Actually, it's one of these YouTube channels that basically uploads the whole series in one video, like one of those marathon channels that's just like blatantly spitting in the face of copyright. And but yeah, like Clone High is a really good series. I think I'm halfway through like the season. And I've been watching it because I think recently they announced that they're going to do finally going to do a second season, because I think Lord and Miller have been teasing that for a while, or they've been wanting to do a second season for a while. I don't know if you knew this. Chris Lord and Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I don't know. Lord and Miller is what they're known as, but they're the guys who did the Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street, some like indeterminate amount of Solo Star Wars film, and some other thing I can't remember which. It was a movie that I watched. I don't know. But anyway, like they're known as being like the only good comedy writers in Hollywood right now, and they got their start with Clone High. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I was thinking about when you were talking about crap. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. About the connection between. It's amazing seeing how many franchises really connect when you look at it by the people who connect them.
Oh yeah, they did Spider-Verse. Yeah, that's what I'm forgetting.
Okay, that's cool. Connected. No.
Yeah, because they had a bunch of good. They had a bunch of Easter eggs about like I think it's the scene where Gwen Stacy gets teleported into Miles's dimension, and like there's a scene at Times Square, and you see all these billboards like 24 Jump Street and Clone High the movie, like all the stuff that they worked on previously. So yeah, they did Spider-Verse, and yeah, I think that's probably my favorite movie. I haven't seen 21 or 22 Jump Street yet. I've been holding off on that for some reason, but I keep hearing that they're great. So I'm gonna eventually get around to watching those.
Did you know that that Mad Max's director also directed Happy Feet?
Yeah.
I apologize, but I just want to picture that crossover.
Yeah, he also directed Babe 2, Pig in the City.
I love it that it's specifically the sequel, Babe 2.
Yeah. I don't remember who directed the first Babe. I don't know if it was him or if it was somebody else. I think it was somebody else, because I always hear...
It's someone else.
Yeah.
I've been watching this documentary on... Are you familiar with cane toads?
Yeah. I know I was going to say, I know that Australians like to run them over in their trucks.
It's the documentary that features that footage. And it's called Cane Toads and Natural History. It is literally probably my new favorite documentary. My former favorite was the one that featured animals boozing themselves up on fermented fruit.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part is just this creepy old Australian man going like, if you listen, you can hear him mating. And he just leans forward ever so imperceptibly. God. Because some of them hate them, but in Queensland they love them.
Reminds me, have you seen Bush World Adventures, that Rick and Morty episode? Or the one that was released
No.
online? I mean, it's definitely a different take on Rick and Morty. It's been done by Michael Cusack, who worked on Smiling Friends and some other like internet cartoons. It has it's probably one of the most Australian cartoons you'll ever watch. So just has that sort of.
I'll look it up. I'll give it the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah. It's basically an Australian ship posting all over Rick and Morty. So, yeah.
Okay. I heard ship posting on Rick and Morty. I dig it.
Yeah. Did you watch that video that I shared in the Discord, the Nintendo shit cube guy?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. Oh no!
It's one of the funniest things I've ever watched. It's.
Oh no! I just saw the picture of him. He looks like. Did I ever tell you about that Devil May Cry video I saw when the reboot came out? When the reboot came out originally, they had this video. I can't find it ever since, but it's this guy complaining about how Dante isn't Dante, and he's holding up all the covers. He's a shirtless, fat ginger guy, and next to him is this black shirtless guy who has to hold up the covers. And I want context, but I don't want context.
It's weird. I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. Like it's like one of those things where you can sort of imagine it, but you're not sure if it's a memory or if it's something you're making up. Because I think like a lot of that stuff was very common back then. So, but yeah, this guy is its description is the pissed off gamer, but his full name, because there's a title card in the video, is the pissed off angry hardcore gamer, and it's like I think it's from that era where the angry video game nerd was at like the height of his popularity. So you had all these people like doing their own pissed off gamer like things, like rip off things, like Irate Gamer, the Game Dude, just a bunch of other guys like that. So, but yeah, this one is like it looks like a snuff film. Like I was reading through the comments, like a lot of that stuff rang true. I like one comment was, this guy looks like his textures haven't fully loaded yet. And he's just like screaming. The audio gain is like through the roof. It's just like, I don't know, it's like a surreal experience.
Angry gamers in that era are kind of a rare thing.
Yeah. Did you see that recently? There's finally gonna be a crossover between the angry video game nerd and the irate gamer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool that James Rolfe is. I find it cool that James Rolfe is still doing the AVGN like anyway. I think that alone is pretty cool.
He reminds me in the most loving way. I like to think of him as the mafioso of YouTube, the old blood kind of.
Yeah.
Like he got everyone started in a way.
Yeah. And he's been in like very, very few controversies. The only one I can think of is there was like a Cheetah Men thing that he was involved in, like the Cheetah Men 2 Kickstarter. He was involved in that, and there was like some shadiness about the campaign. But I think that's about it. I can't remember, but yeah, I guess people just sort of like, I don't know, forgiven is the right word, or if they was just like, it's not that big of a deal. I imagine it was the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah. Speaking of YouTubers, I've been watching Linus Tech Tips.
Who? Oh, Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah, the guy who's he does a lot of or daily videos about computer repair, or computer building stuff, anything to do with computer hardware. He does a video on. He also does weekly podcasts about tech news. He always manages to keep his videos at least somewhat entertaining. and informative as well. I know that I've been saving money recently to upgrade my computer, so I've been binging some of his videos on the subject. So yeah, he's pretty interesting. If you're into computer tech, check him out.
I've been getting into more programmer YouTubers. I don't know a lick of, like, the guys who are like, we're going to talk about, or no, my favorite one is the guy who made a non-Euclidean world generator.
Hmm.
And he when he spoke about the programming, I didn't understand a lick of what he was saying, but it was so fascinating.
Yeah, the one programming video I can think of is like, there are a couple of them. There's one that I think the way I talked about last episode was the episode that was going over the Team Fortress 2 code and all the developer notes where people were just like screaming at each other in the notes and like, this code doesn't make sense. Oh well, too bad. And that and the Yandere dev code where it's just spaghetti, as it's been described.
I kind of like hearing someone talk about something super technical that they're really into.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things in the whole world.
Yeah. And on the subject of Yandere Simulator, somebody actually set out to make their own version of Yandere Simulator called Lovesick. And they managed to get a working demo done in 2 weeks. And it runs... And it runs at a stable, like, 60 frames a second. And it's like, it works completely well. And also there was when there was like a Q&A where Yandere Dev was like asked, why does your code look so terrible? And he's like, oh, this code was never meant to be in the final game anyway, so it doesn't matter if it was leaked. And it's like, you spent 5 years coding this game and you're not going to use the code? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
My God.
Like, it's just a mess with him, with his code. It's like, I don't know.
God, I'm sorry. It's just he's a messy human.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe him. Some people they're not like malevolent or like hateful, but they're just like kind of a mess.
Kind of like Chris Chan.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about Chris Chan the other day. Because like somebody posted like a Virgin versus Chad version of him, where it's like the Virgin Christine versus the Chad Christian, and it's like Chris from like current Chris versus like circa 2008.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you look at how he was back then, and how it's weird how like he was like just even vaguely stable before, like, like Sonic 2 became widespread on the internet. I mean, he wasn't. I don't think he was.
That the attention hurt him. To be honest, I think it hurt him.
Yeah, I think that stable is probably overstating it as well, because he was still like stalking what's her name, Megan.
Yeah.
He was
always fucked up. It's just when you shine a light on Orochi, they kind of have to move around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people who were in that scene, the Trollistas Paradise, I don't know if there was ever a name for them, but I think it was
Trollstas, like Trollstas.
Trollstas, right, Trollstas. They're like gangstas, Trollstas. Yeah, I always saw it as Trollistas because I guess it sounded cool. But
Does
anyway,
Trollista play Tracks for Destroyer?
I don't know. Like, what's that a reference to?
Batista playing Drax the Destroyer.
Okay. But yeah, the term ween was used at certain points, which was like trolls who just wouldn't let it go, wouldn't let like the trolling train go when it came to Chris. Because I think it was like, I don't know, like when it comes to like examining how trolling works, there really are no good guys. I think that the best way to like look at that is like people who stand true to their ideals. So really, the bad guys are the ones with integrity, if that makes any sense. But even though they're not doing anything good, they're still like staying true to their morals, which I think that's still kind of messy logic anyway. So I don't know. I've never really.
What do you mean?
Like, there's this I think that the term concern trolling gets brought up, where it's like people who, it's often people who used to troll people who like a year later they'll come around being like, oh, this is actually bad. I'm like, you guys are actually the bad guys because like I think that we've pushed this too far, and now I'm going to morally scold you for doing the exact same thing I used to do, but now that I'm older and blah blah blah. I think
where do you stand on the theory that like the people fucked with Chris Chan to the point that they may have caused him to mentally go over the edge?
I think some people definitely did, like the idea guys, for instance, who were like intentionally wanted to like screw with him, screw with him.
I was thinking about Liquid Chris. Mm-hmm. We know how little he's been holding on to reality. I don't want to sound, weird, but that could have really gaslit him. May have really, fucked with him. The Liquid Chris thing.
I don't think it was intentional, though. So I would give him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not intentional, but you have to realize he's butt fuck crazy.
Mm-hmm.
God. I hate to use this metaphor. It's like, it's why in Star Trek you're not supposed to talk to aliens who don't have space yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like the Prime Directive. Yeah.
Yeah, the Prime Directive. Fuck. Yeah. Even though we break it every fucking movie and episode.
Yeah. You just gotta you gotta like consider what the internet was back then, though. It was basically the Wild West. You didn't have all these like codes and moral guidelines back then. You could
I know.
You could call anyone the N-word and like nobody cared. That's how like crazy it was back then.
I remember the internet back then. I mean, it was like, it's why I mainly stuck to Adventure. Was the game Adventure Quest? It was the MMORPG in Flash.
Is it Rune Quest? Or
Adventure? No, it was 2D Adventure Quest.
You're probably right.
I used to get pissed because you had to buy a gem to get a dragon, and I never had the money to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see what else is on the list of talking points. Oh yeah, Hamilton. I don't really give a shit about Hamilton. I don't know about you, but that's on Disney Plus.
It's cool. I think it's cool that it's getting people to really, learn about what was once, someone that they didn't really look into in history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's all like very, very fictionalized, I think. I mean, it's like basically, I've heard people say that it's like in name only, these characters.
But it gets people to look it up.
I think there are some people who that applies to, yeah. I've heard more people, like, I guess the Tumblr side of the crowd, who are like just making gay fan art, shipping these characters with each other. I think that crowd.
Well, that's what Tumblr always does.
Yeah, but you gotta think, like, how many people do you think, how much of a percentage of people who like go like see Hamilton do you think like fall into the category you were saying of people who actually?
Well, I mean, I would guess a fair deal, because there's going to be a lot of people who go Hamilton, yeah, and then they kind of look it up on Wikipedia a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Even that level, I'm calling, like they'll flash through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, I think that's what counts anyway. It's like people who actually do the research.
Lin Miranda's a really cool fucking guy.
Who?
Let me get his name up. The guy who Lin Miranda. I'm bad with names. Mm-hmm. Lin Manuel Miranda, mm-hmm. The guy who did the who composed the lyrics for it.
Okay.
I believe he was Hamilton in it. I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I actually watched like a video about the Disney Plus version, and I think his name did come up, but that was today, so it shows how little I even care about what's it called? Oh yeah, Hamilton. I don't really give a
So
shit.
why are you bringing it up?
Well, it's just because like people seem to like it a lot, and I don't know. It just makes me think about. I was sort of wanted to tie it back into like what's been going on lately, because I was driving through Cleveland the other day, and I was passing by. I think it was like the Cleveland Library, or like Cleveland Courthouse. It was like an old building, and it had like two statues in front. One of them was Alexander Hamilton, the other was Thomas Jefferson. And I was just thinking in the back of my head, I wonder how long those statues are going to stay up, and just like shuddering a bit. So
okay,
it just like what you were talking about.
Can I pull out my asshole card for a bit?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, hold on. I was looking at an article on Eldon. I kind of just want to say this. Do you know when 90% of those fucking Confederate statues came up? They didn't come up after the Civil War. They came up during the 1960s. They came up during the Civil Rights era, almost after a lot of the protests about Jim Crow laws.
Uh-huh.
They don't stand for heritage, and that's why I think that either stick them in the museum or find some other place to stick them.
Yeah, but then you see like statues of George Washington getting pulled down, and you're like, okay, I think that's where we draw the line. It's like,
yeah,
like
okay.
I would not.
That happened 2019.
That happened last week.
No, I don't remember that. Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that happened recently, but
they're talking about like smashing, like they're talking about like taking images of Jesus out of churches. I think that's like way too far.
That's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. Where did you hear this? I want to hear the source on this. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I was talking to my uncle the same argument, and he's kind of one of the reasons why I'm leaving Facebook, because he's been kind of being a fucking cunt on it. Excuse my language, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of cunts on Facebook. That's why I'm leaving too.
Yeah, you know why I think it's ironic to call people like that cunts? Because they lack the warmth and depth required. I apologize for that. Sorry, but
yeah,
the Confederacy's kind of this weird thing to promote. It would be like if we supported, if we put statues of all our traitors up years later.
And I agree that
what I mean.
I agree they should be moved to like a museum if that's what
I agree with that.
Whatever. Yeah.
But you're gonna have the assholes who, like the ones who don't support Planned Parenthood, the ones who don't support, giving Narcan to police, EMTs, who are gonna say no, we're gonna leave it up because it's heritage. It's not heritage. It's just because it's their ideal shown in a statue. No, I'm getting kind of preachy.
Even if they said we're going to leave it up because fuck you, I'd be fine with that.
Tony, no, I don't think that they should be allowed to make a decision. I don't believe that they should be allowed to make a decision against the people that they're supposed to listen to, I don't think that they should be allowed to go against the people.
They put it to a vote then. Put it to a vote then.
Hey, do you know how they're going to gerrymander? That's how the votes go. It's. Have you seen how they cut districts? How the districts are done for gerrymandering?
You're gonna have to remind me what that is, Zach.
So, gerrymandering, districts are, you know how they draw districts, right?
No.
So they take districts and they draw them up. But some people draw up the districts to be more politically advantageous. They might make this district cater more to Democrats, and Democrats used to do this for years. and mysteriously, all of a sudden, and I'm not trying to sound left or right here, have made it so that they're almost in charge of these shit. That they're making sure that their demographics are getting the creme of a crop of votes.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to get political because every time.
No, too late for that.
Yeah, hey, remember when our podcast was about big white monkeys and giant robots called Gypsy Danger?
Yeah, remember when our country wasn't infested with disease? And yeah, I would hopefully by the end of the year we'll be able to get back to talking about goofy shit instead.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like. I think the quarantine is making me go a little crazy.
Yeah, like pretty much for all of us. I think that's why Facebook to me is like at least seeming way worse than it used to like a couple months ago. Everybody is just so on edge, like probably including myself as well. I mean, like
my
think about
uncle. Sorry.
Think about that message that I sent you last week.
I know. Do you want me to tell you what the message was?
Yeah. I started up by saying, let's see. I've got a somewhat weird and ominous question for you, and I was like gonna ask you like if your family would like sell me any guns, because I've been in the market for one anyway. But yeah, it's just been making me like think about that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, my mom has been, she usually keeps her shotgun kind of, hidden up. She's been getting her shotgun more already.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
Yeah, I'd want a shotgun or an AR-15. That's what I would want.
Oh, no, Tony, I'm sorry. AR-15s are kind of, from what I hear, they're kind of the midlife crisis of guns. They're the Harley Davidson of gun, Tony. Think of the average guy who drives a Harley Davidson.
Well, the first thing I think of is that guy in the pink shirts, like with the gun, like with defending his house against like the riders in his backyard. Have you seen that
God.
one? The guy in the pink shirt. And that was like viral for a little bit. But yeah, it was a really fucked up situation where basically this guy, it was the like some beer company, or it was I think it was Bush, the estate house that he bought to like touch up and clean up, and like on the inside it looks like a mansion. And of course they like made this about it's the rich versus the poor, but it was really about some guy like these people like broke down the gates that and like they stormed his backyard. So he comes out with like armed with a fucking AR-15. His wife has a handgun. They're like, get off our property.
I know who you're talking about. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Can I be honest with you? Hey, I have a question. What's your thoughts on the NRA?
I think they're too restrictive.
Wait, what? You think they're too
they don't like when it comes to who can own what guns. I think that they're a little bit too, from what I understand, they don't fight like these bills that say you can't own a gun, like you can't own bump stocks, and they're like, okay, that's to my knowledge.
Hey, Tony, may please I apologize when you said the NRA is too restrictive. I just kind of.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. And from how it's been described to me, like I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't really associate myself with them.
Neither would me. My mom used to be a member, but she dropped out because they kind of did. They always had an ulterior motive, she felt.
Right.
Can I tell you what really got to me? Because I've been trying to look into shit like this, so I'm not just spewing out my ass, Mm-hmm. So I'm not just your average Ohio politician.
Right.
And I looked it up. Did you know that they did an interview with the NRA thinking, like, should mentally ill people own guns? Why not? And and they're kind of a dog whistling company. I don't like using the term dog whistle because but
Right.
they're acting like it's fucking ISIS trying to cross the Mexican border.
I mean, the cartels are pretty like when they're
No, they're acting like if you don't own a gun, ISIS is gonna whack your head off in the middle of fucking Portland, Oregon.
I mean, in this case,
Ugh.
Antifa or Black Lives Matter.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. My uncle thinks I'm a member of Antifa just because I don't like Trump.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
I
a little.
sound I sound like a liberal to you. No, I'm not. I have a couple hard right views. I support the death penalty in some cases. I don't believe guns should be extremely restricted. You know what I mean, right?
Right.
But my uncle's like, you have basic opinions on human decency? Antifa!
Yeah. It seems like there's a shrinking space for discourse, which I don't like.
My uncle doesn't. My uncle. Can I? I'm gonna pull up the Facebook Messenger. I've invented something that I call the free post Randy rule. That it takes 3 posts before he calls me an asshole, Antifa, cunt, or liberal. My
Why do you
favorite
talk to this
thing.
guy?
I can't help it, Tony. I have a self-destructive impulse. You, mainly because I think that if I don't talk to him, he might try and talk to someone else and go like, "You ever heard of Antifa?" And the guy turns around and just goes, "No." By the way, you know Antifa's not a big organization. They haven't been super active in a long time.
Only
The thing
recently.
is that it's just, oh no, it seems that when they call someone Antifa is usually after they brain the guy. I'm sorry, it's just I'm oh my god. I apologize, Tony.
Let's move on to another subject, shall we?
Hey, I have a good idea for a subject, maybe. We were just talking about something fun. Why don't we talk about Matrix and the Wachowskis?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I don't know how many of their films you've watched, but because they're actually working. They might. I mean, depending on current situation, they might still be working on it. The 4th Matrix movie.
Hey, maybe they'll make it good.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You never know, Tony. We talk shit about M. Night Shyamalan and he produced.
Yeah, I mean, he's made 2 good movies out of 10.
Well, I mean, recently,
What movie? Are you talking about Glass?
Oh, yeah, he made Glass and he made the one before that about the guy who was crazy.
Oh, Split.
But who knows? Maybe we'll get the new Wachowski Renaissance.
Maybe. I'm not.
I've been trying to have hope for something.
It seems like a lot of people have gone back on the Matrix and are saying, "Oh, it's aged really badly." I don't know. I haven't watched it recently, but I'll have to test that theory because I remember watching it. Well, I was a teenager when I watched it for the first time, and I loved it. But yeah, I don't like. There might be a lot of stuff in the writing that's just window dressing. So I have a feeling that might be the case. I do remember though it was a really good looking movie. I think it was one of the last science fiction movies at least, where there were a lot of really good practical effects. And after that, for a while, there was a lot of CG stuff that took over. And it wasn't until I think only the last 5 years that more practical stuff started to come back. I mean, I think about Force Awakens and other sci-fi stuff where they really dug up the practical effects part of that stuff. But for a while, it was CGI. And with the sequels, it was definitely sequels to The Matrix, it was especially evidence. The sequels are still terrible.
I was thinking it. Yeah. God, yeah.
You ever watch Speed Racer?
I was thinking of. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. It's a
I haven't
guilty pleasure of mine.
I haven't watched it in a while. I think I only watched it once, and I think the last time I watched it was like 8 years ago. And I think my impressions of it at the time were like it's Spy Kids if it were good. So I don't know. I'll
What
have
the
to
fuck did you just say, man? Am I gonna have to fight you now?
but Spy Kids 3 if Spy Kids 3 were good.
I'm kidding, man. You're allowed to have your own opinions, but we all know Spy Kids is the definitive what the fuck did I just see kids movie.
I hear people
Listen,
say
it's a madman, help us.
Yeah, I still hear people say that the first Spy Kids movie is the only good one. But yeah, and
I always thought the second was my favorite.
Huh.
Because it had the fucking spider monkey.
Yeah, it had like the Ray Harryhausen inspired monsters, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can see that.
I'm a kid. If you want to wine me and dine me, put on a monster movie.
Yeah, there's probably more Ray Harryhausen references in Spy Kids 2 than most people realize. Because I remember there's like the part where they fight the skeletons. That's definitely inspired by Jason and the Argonauts. I remember the spider monkey. I think is inspired by another one of the monsters in either Clash of the Titans or Jason and the Argonauts.
I think that they're all. I think he's actually inspired a tiny bit by a monster they did called Ymir. It was also reused. It's how it moved. Reminds me of Ymir.
Yeah.
I watched just a compilation of 60s monster movies. For my comic, I'm trying to reference how they move and look.
Yeah. It would be neat to see them try to do that in CGI. Because I like the first person I think of is Were the Kids, who I think I brought up before. And like he did a couple of videos where it's all done in Blender, but it looks almost exactly like stop motion, specifically the Rankin Bass stop motion from like,
What's her name?
Were the Kids, WORITHI. I'll put it up in the banner.
Floop doesn't. Wait, could I real quick just share the worst joke I planned for my monster comic?
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the monsters that comes up is an Australian cane-toed monster that can shoot electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Who truly is the Thunder from Down Under.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this. It's our Patreon banner. I accidentally clicked it on it. Accidentally.
Oh, no. I hope for... Oh, my God.
Enough of that.
I love how... I have a theory about the image. Like, this is a Monkey Bar fan theory.
Uh-huh.
Do you see how it's the old version of a monkey in the box, but it's the new one outside?
Oh, yeah.
That's the Shadow Realm where we banish old mascots. Hey, can you send me the MP4?
I can see.
I might want to make that my screensaver.
Sure. I'll be right back. I have to go piss.
I have out. Well, it's time for my turn to run this. Did you know that the cane toad, they only brought over 103? Yeah. 103 cane toads. So, fun fact I also learned in the creation of. Oh, what? Oh. The creation of a movie Valley of Guanji.
Oh, I'm back.
Hey, sorry.
Talking about that again?
Yeah, in the movie Valley of Guanji, the person who made it gave the dinosaur maquette to his daughter, who became obsessed with it. She used to carry it around in a little baby basket. And this was the 1970s, and she used to get yelled at by random strangers.
Yeah, I still need to watch that movie.
It's a good one. It's one that, if you ever want to watch it together through like a watch or something, I would love to, because it's a movie I know somewhat well.
Yeah, I still need to set up. I just remember this before we started was the SciTube setting up a monkey bar there. I was going to call it Monkey Bar Happy Hour, where we can share watch stuff there.
That is a lovely name.
Yeah. So anyone who's joined our Patreon, you don't have to pay. Anyone can come stop in. I'll link to it on my Twitter.
Hey, real quick, I shared something in your Discord that I'd like to show in the chat real quick.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Did no one watching?
Mm-hmm.
This is the hero of my comic, the monster hero at least.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Mold Breaker and Cicadozer. God.
I can see it's basically, it looks like this is a kaiju?
Yes.
So it's like a Godzilla and Mothra, except if Godzilla was a giant rat and there's a cicada.
I know. My favorite joke I want to do is that there's going to be a parody of the song scene where it does the cicada song, but everyone's grabbing their ears like, fucking A, shut that fucking monster up. It deafens the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to give... Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
Here's what pissed me off. I found out there was a Godzilla cartoon that features a giant shrews and the cicada.
Mm-hmm.
What the actual fuck? It's the one I never saw, the cartoon. It was the newer one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I brought up the Wachowskis because my uncle actually asked. Yeah, he suggested a subject to talk about, which I can't really talk about right now because neither of us have watched it yet. Was Cloud Atlas that got added to Netflix recently, and yeah, like I was gonna ask that we discuss it or next week's episode. Apparently it's based on a book, and actually I remember it was actually the subject, or at least the starting segments thing that I did for one of my very early short films. I think it was when it first came out and in theaters. It was like the idea was on this video called the Tony Sharp Show Episode 1. It was like going to be this series of like little dumb short films I did with my brother. And yeah, it's just sort of like when I heard the name Cloud Atlas, it just sort of brought a blast from the past for me. So yeah, it's, I think that was the most interesting thing about that I thought of.
I like nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Nostalgia can lead you astray, but it can also bring back some good moments, I feel.
Yeah. Probably my favorite video that I did like on my YouTube channel was the Halloween special. I still like coming back to that one just because I think that at the time for some dumb 20-year-old who had no idea of how to make a movie, it was there were some good camera angles in there, some good editing, which I look back with a little bit of pride on. It's weird to think that was like 8 years ago. Or actually almost like close to 9 years ago now, because that was like back in like November of 2012, I think. Whatever. 2011. Yeah, I'm trying to do the math live.
Math hard. Hey, by the way, since I got sunburned, I decided to kind of treat myself. I got Doom Eternal.
You got what?
I picked up Doom Eternal.
Oh, does it run well on your computer?
I picked it up on the Xbox
Oh,
through the Microsoft Store.
okay.
I finally found an online multiplayer mode I'm good at
Hmm.
because it seems everyone I play with sucks almost as much as I do.
Hmm.
That or the lag that we apparently there's a game-wide lag on the multiplayer we're still addressing, makes us overall even in the eyes of the Doom Slayer.
Hmm. You know,
How
I'm
about
talking.
if
I've talked. I know I was talking about upgrading my PC. I've been like considering instead to like get a PS5 instead when that comes out, like saving my money for that. But I don't know because one of the primary motivations I have for upgrading my PC is Half-Life Alyx. So I want to like jump into like the VR scene, and I mean that's going to be a while until I save up for both a graphics card, possibly upgrading my motherboard and processor, like doing a lot of upgrading. In addition to getting a headset, and like that's a long term project.
hey, if you ever do get a headset, I wouldn't mind visiting you.
Oh yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah. You're definitely gonna start getting some friends after that. And by the time I manage to afford all that, the quarantine will probably be lifted. There will be a vaccine and everything. We'll be able to go outside, but we still won't feel motivated to because we got all this. Yeah, because I got my VR headset.
Do you know what I'm kind of sad
What?
about? You, I'm kind of sad. I'm surprised the coronavirus hasn't mutated into zombies yet.
Huh.
All the Resident Evil nerds are prepared.
Uh-huh.
Everyone walk into the rooms marked with the obvious red door.
Yeah.
If the light's on, he can't get inside.
I'm trying to think of like jokes that aren't too obvious, like, oh, they've been growing their own herbs, if you know what I mean. Herbs or marijuana. Or whatever. I'm sure that like the early or the mid to late 2000s have already made every bad Resident Evil joke that's already been made.
Hey, I was watching some old Godzilla movies in Japanese with the subtitles. They have some funny lines. Can I share my favorite one?
Sure.
So they have it's Godzilla versus King Kong, and the guy's talking about his wife, and then they find out King Kong is coming from the east and he's running, and they're talking about his wife being angry he's coming home late.
Mhm.
And the guy says, King Kong's coming from the east, you don't want to take that train. And he turns and says, and I quote, I'm not worried about the giant monkey. I love that. King Kong versus Godzilla was meant to be a giant comedy.
Hmm.
It was even going to supposedly end with the two monsters becoming friends.
Hmm.
They were going to make it a pay-per-view fight, but that's where I got the idea for my comic.
Oh, cool. I'm still working on my comic. Since the last episode, I brought in the first 10 pages of my script to the Pocket Jacks stream. Now all I have to do is wait for them to announce the winner. Yeah, I'm in the final 5, and I think three others have to read their scripts before they announce a winner, and I think that's going to be by like August 5th. I don't know if there's like a concrete deadline or if they just want to get to the rest of the contestants like at their own pace or on their own schedule. It depends. So wish me luck on that. I know that you said that you'd buy me dinner if I won.
Yes. It won't be an expensive meal, but it will be a meal that I can afford.
You're gonna have to like take me to the McDonald's you quit from.
Oh, fuck. Walk in there like a gangster. Yo, hook my man Tony up. Who are you? None of the people you knew work here anymore.
Or they have the managers like, I don't even know who you are.
Like Thanos. I don't even know who you are. I thought of making a sort of reference to Cat Kid in my comic where I have never seen a giant cat kaiju.
Hmm.
Just picture a giant cat running around a city.
Mm-hmm. I know I've seen like a GIF of like cats rotoscoped into like cities, like just not like because cats knocking shit over, but they're like knocking a helicopter over or whatever. That's the closest I've seen to an actual giant cat kaiju. You think that
Oh
the
my
market?
god! What?
You think that the market would be fresh for one?
Yeah. So my rule of thumb is: do you know why they use small creatures for kaiju?
Why?
If you notice, a lot of them are small. It's because we all know the small things so intimately; it becomes scary when they're big.
Huh. Yeah, it's yeah, that makes sense. I thought, yeah,
Also, it's they tend to be.
when you said
Sorry.
small kaiju, I thought for a minute because I remember there, like, I think that there are some. It's funny, like how when the more popular kaiju became, the bigger the sets got. So like really, the smaller the kaiju became. So I'm thinking about like this.
Here's what's interesting.
Yeah, there was one kaiju movie where like the skyscrapers are like 3 times the size of them, so they're actually pretty small. I can't remember the name of it though.
What I thought was interesting of Godzilla. Godzilla in the got bigger from the first era to the second, but when he got to the Millennium, he got smaller again because they
Mm,
wanted to tell a more personal story.
all right. Yeah, I wasn't
It
sure if that.
also featured.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
wasn't sure if that was like based on like budget or if it was just like thematic for the story.
It's actually more expensive to make a bigger, more complex building
Right.
because you have to paint the sign details, you have to put the windows in.
Hmm.
The smaller ones, they can actually make it out. They can cheap out a little bit if
Yeah.
it's smaller.
Yeah. It seems like the first Godzilla movie in the '50s was like sort of that sweet spot.
I honestly think that movie is one of the best movies ever made when it comes to effects because they use every single effects in the book.
Huh.
Like they jump to stop motion puppets, they use gas or gas, fuel, fire. They use every single thing they can use to simulate this monster attacking.
Hmm. I think we've discussed this before of like why no, well, there haven't been many YouTube channels that have done like series like this because like a lot of people have the technology now to like make their own cheesy B movies or whatever, but you don't really see a lot of people do that, especially on YouTube at least. But it would be nice to see somebody do like their own, like just somebody who owns a motorcycle do their own like Common Rider sort of uh, parody or their own thing. But yeah,
There is some
just tape like cardboard and stuff on like a biker helmet and just like make a dumb story like that. Like do a couple of dumb short films. It's like why not?
I'm going to tell you a secret, but there's a convention called G Fest I've been thinking about going to, but I'm too afraid of it. And the big thing about it is that when you go there, that there's a costume party where you make your own Godzilla and monster suits.
Uh,
And I'm honestly looking into how to make my own suit because maybe I could make my own original monster
yeah,
for a movie.
yeah, that'd be
Because
cool.
Kamen Rider would be easier to do than Godzilla.
Hmm.
No, you'd be funny. Make a comedic series about a Kamen Rider whose bike got stolen.
Hmm.
So you have to just run everywhere.
He has to take the bus.
God. He gets off the bus. Ass whooping activate.
Uh, I mean, it's weird that I say Common Rider first because I grew up with Power Rangers. So, and I feel like I feel like somebody must have already done something like that on YouTube or online, their own version. Uh, but yeah, it seems like I don't know. I always get the feeling like YouTube, especially, is like just counterintuitive for creators. Like nowadays, it's just about getting the clicks, getting the views, and there's really no. I don't know if it's not YouTube, then it's just how like that sort of, I don't know, like that kind of culture is where it's like, oh, we just want you to do the same thing, and then you'll get popular like everybody else. I don't know. Like I think about the first thing I think of is Sock Baby, and how that was just like a burst of creativity, and it was great to see, great to watch, and a lot of videos back then, and like late 2000s, early 2010s. Like back when Smosh, I mean, despite how you feel about Smosh, they were like the biggest channel on YouTube at one point, and they just did like dumb skits like to make each other laugh. And now it's just, I think like T Series is still like the top channel on YouTube, and that's just like it's just music videos from India, and I just think there's something sad about that. It's all just corporate.
Yeah. By the way, I finally found the picture I was looking for. Some of those costumes at G Fest kind of get elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
There was one costume they had there one year.
Mm-hmm.
This guy made a Mechagodzilla that's head could swing around 360. This isn't it, but apparently the guy came back next year with an upgraded Mechagodzilla.
Mm.
I apologize.
Huh. Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, it looks like it's painted foam.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's painted something, or I'm gonna look in to see how hard it is to make a monster suit, because your alien script or your one,
Mm-hmm.
you could make the gun. If you ever need an alien monster, I could look up how to make a suit for it.
Yeah. Man, oh yeah, that's something I completely forgot about. Not completely, but it's just I was going back into. I was like trying to like get some life back into like the film group, or just trying to get people to make films again. Hopefully that'll be soon. Lately, it's been harder than ever, and already it was hard to get people on board for a movie. Ken, I saw he's really been frustrated with the way things are right now. So I don't know. It's hard out there for a filmmaker. So, which is why I'm sticking to comics right now.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that I'm giving up on filmmaking because it's hard. No, it just seems like it's kind of impossible right now. But yeah, with I don't know. There's just not enough people on board right now to really do anything other than write a script for that. I know that I was entertaining the idea of doing it in animation, and that's still on my mind. So at least I'm doing something to, toy with that idea. But right now, it's the idea of filmmaking is just really depressing. There's just nobody interested in doing that right now.
I'm interested, but I'm trying to, to stay home, trying to, chores are piling on,
Right.
Cutting wood, keeping the yard nice.
Mm-hmm. But I hate to leave on a depressing note, so I do want to talk about, say a little bit more about the comic. It is coming along really well. I'm almost finished with the first issue or first chapter, and I'm still chugging along on that. Still getting more and more of that done, and I do have an outline, at least mentally. I'm going to write down the outline before I finish this. But yeah, there's a beginning, middle, and end to this whole thing, at least. So that's always a good sign for writing a script or writing anything for that matter. I should be able to, and my game plan for this is right now to do most of the art myself and hire a art assistant. I think that both financially and from my own standpoint, my own creativeness or whatever, I think that's the best solution right now. Because I remember yesterday I was toying with doing a rough version of a cover that I wanted to do for Cat Kid, and I was thinking about sending the rough sketch to an artist to as a reference for what I want the cover to look like. And I was telling that to my uncle, and he was like, well, why don't you do the cover yourself? You're already drawing it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So that's kind of what my strategy is going to be for doing the comic, is do as much of the art I can on my schedule, and then hand it off to not an editor, but like an assistant to polish it.
If you ever need concepts for monsters, I'm always willing to help come up with weird shit like the harpy that.
Yeah, sure.
Because you helped with Orca.
Oh yeah, sure. And I'll be sure to credit you if I need that.
Certainly. For my comic, I've kind of been at a standstill in writing. I decided that I may have to. I've been trying to outline it, but I have this issue. I'm coming up with too many monsters to put in a comic, so I'm considering doing something like spinning a wheel to see what monster gets in what chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you'd have to change why it's there, what it's doing, of course, but stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize.
You're still considering submitting that to the Comicscape TM wiki?
Orca?
Yeah.
I thought it's over. The window's up.
Well, no, you can still add it to the wiki.
Oh, wait, I can?
Yeah.
Fuck, I wish we had a little section in their chat to ask about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, you can just like.
A kaiju wouldn't.
Yeah, like. Yeah, like the contest is just for the prize money. It's not for. You can still like get your characters and comics published through the imprint. It's just the contest is just for the prize money.
I see. I thought you had to win the contest. I misread that completely.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can.
All right.
If you want to write an article and put that up on the wiki, then there's there's an instruction page for how to do that. And yeah, like knock yourself out. I think that'd be great to have it on the wiki.
I also kind of want to. I might add Skunk Rock as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whatever you want to add to there, whatever you're comfortable with adding.
Well, certainly. I apologize. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think I'm ready to wrap up. How about you?
I am too.
All right. Well, until next time, I have been Tony.
I've been Zach.
And this has been the Monkey Bar.